Hello, hello. It is your friendly, always looking out for you local realtor, Lolo, and I'm excited to bring you another new month of market updates. So we're diving into September 2024 and looking back at July and August to give us some details and tell us what to think about the market in Santa Clara County, or more specifically, the Silicon Valley. Let's start with by the numbers. So when I'm looking at these numbers, most of the time I'm pulling up these statistics from July 2024, but I'm also going to share some details as to what's current as of August 31st. But let's start with July 2024. The median sold price in our county was $1.6 million. Still a big number, but that's actually down 2.14% from the month prior. So that's definitely something to look out for in terms of expectations of how much you're going to get a home for or what you need to bid towards. So that being said, the list to sold price in relation to that was 104.2%. That means things are still selling at or above asking, but not quite as much as they were in the past when the market was really hot and competitive. So that's down 1.85% from the prior month. We're still seeing about 10 median days on market. That's not average, that is median. So really depending on the area or neighborhood you're looking at will tell you more specifically what to expect if you're on your home search or looking for a home. For example, I was taking a client to see some homes in Palo Alto recently, and there were things that in the same neighborhood where things were taking 6 months or longer to actually sell a year ago, which is a little bit of a surprise. It was pretty competitive a year ago. They're going on the market and selling within a week. They're getting into contract very quickly. And that's something that you have to take into consideration if you're in your process, that you're prepared to actually go for a bid and be under contract as soon as possible. Whereas there's some other homes, larger homes, 4-bedroom homes that we are seeing that we typically see go very fast or be under contract within a week, that are taking a lot longer, that have been on market for 2 weeks or more. And that's a little surprising to us, but we're pulling all these trends together so that individual case-by-case basis, we can give you the best recommendation. So it's something to note that these statistics and by the numbers are helpful to help us just kind of have a clear idea of what's going on in our county when it comes to the real estate market. But neighborhood to neighborhood is drastically different, and you want to be able to specify if you're actually in your home search or selling process and take that into account. Now getting to the numbers that are a little more timely. As of August 31st, I'm going to be very specific and point out condos and townhomes in our county. There are 627 active listings for condos and townhomes right now. So although we talk about there still being a low inventory compared to the amount of people in the Bay Area and the amount of people searching, that's a pretty large number. And for those of you that are looking for not a studio, not a 1-bedroom, 552 of those active listings are 2 or more bedrooms. And that's specifically for condos or townhomes. So that's definitely something to consider too if you really need the standalone single family home, or if you'd actually prefer a townhome, which might share a wall, depending on where you're at, because there are some townhomes that are more independent, that have the space or are end units, or a condo, which you might have an HOA associated, of course, but there's a lot of benefits to condos too if you prefer to have low maintenance and amenities, things like that. So something to consider when comparing if you are ready for a condo townhome or looking more so at single family home residences. So let's break that down into what the actual tips are, whether you're buying, selling, just looking. For buyers, my number one tip for you this month is get your money in order. Truly, I want you to understand your numbers, particularly your debt numbers. So pay attention to how much debt you actually have and if you have an action plan in place to tackle it. A lot of times what we're seeing is that people don't even realize they are in a position of being or close to being house poor. I don't want to see any of my friends or clients get into that space. It is a headache. It can be stressful. And if you are in that place and you're like, shoot, it's too late, Lolo, help me, I'm happy to help you get resources and get connected to people who can guide you through that process so that you are no longer feeling that stress and headache. Let me know. But if you're not there, I want you to prevent that from happening and be proactive. So get your numbers in order, understand what your expenses are month to month, understand what your income is and how you are tackling any debt that you may have, so that you can be accurate in getting mortgage loan estimates in your bidding and knowing what to shop for if you're on that buyer side. The other thing I want to note for my buyers, I actually went to a workshop recently to kind of address some of the stress that folks are feeling around home insurance. So I wanted to bring that up as well. Do not sign your name on a contract without talking about home insurance. It needs to be part of your conversation within your purchase, within your contract negotiations. Do not avoid that conversation or wait till the last minute when you've already put the money down on the house and then you don't know if you can get home insurance or not. There are options for you, and you just want to be prepared. So have that conversation with your agent ahead of time and then make sure it's written into your offer. Let's go into sellers. My number one tip for sellers right now, and I know not everybody's going to want to hear this, but it's be patient. Truly be patient. Technically, the market is still in your favor when we're looking at inventory, right? And even just the median days on market, 10 median days on market is really not bad. That's not a bad number. But like I said, neighborhood to neighborhood, it's very varied. So it may take more time. And that just means you need to be clear on your priorities. If you are like, time is my priority, I want to sell this house by this date and, no go, then you need to be adaptable and be willing to maybe drop the listing price a little bit, maybe more than you expect. You can be very strategic in that as well, because sometimes we drop the listing price as a way of making it more competitive. More buyers can see it when they're actually doing their search on the web. They'll see things that are lower and then bid higher, things like that. That's a whole nother conversation. But all to say, if that's your priority is timing, consider being adaptable on your listing price. Now, if your priority is the numbers, what you actually want, what your property is worth, property value, the money that you're going to make from selling the home, then you need to be more adaptable on the time side. Be patient, make sure the marketing is in place and key. That is definitely like one of the things we focus on a lot. Within Metis, we have a whole division within our brokerage called Studio Metis, where we do videos like this and make sure that our marketing is on point for all the clients we serve. And it's just something that you want to consider step by step. How am I selling this home? Why am I selling this home? And what is my main goal or priority at this time, so that you can adapt the pathway to getting to that goal. Now, I kind of want to go deeper into our hot topics today. Buy the numbers is so important if you are actively on the market, buying or selling, understanding those trends and getting these tips going. But whether you are just looking, just interested in real estate trends, or actively on the market, these hot topics that are going on that are affecting real estate market and the culture of Silicon Valley in general are important for everybody living here or even thinking about living here to know. My first topic I want to tackle today in our hot topics is the homelessness crisis. And yes, it is a crisis. I don't think that is negotiable, although the way we are tackling the homelessness crisis is highly controversial, I guess I could say. So I'm going to pull up this article from the Mercury News. And within it, the author, Ethan Varian, says, after the U.S. Supreme Court granted cities broad new authority to clear homeless camps in June, Governor Gavin Newsom had a clear message for local officials: no more excuses. He writes, Newsom, under growing pressure to make progress on homelessness this month, ordered state agencies to work with cities and counties to shut down encampments and threatened to cut funding to local governments that fail to get more people off of the street. This is a crisis, he told local officials. Act like it. Now, pulling away from the article, like any issue that affects humans, homelessness or the issue of being unhoused is something that's really debated on how to fix it. And I say fix in quotes because there's a lot of folks who are of the opinion that it can't be fixed. Now, I'm not going to say which way or another is the best way, but I do want to kind of talk about some of the things going on in our city and in our county that are trying to address this. And there's different opinions of this too. For example, where I live, I see folks who are unhoused or homeless every single day, without a doubt. Now, there's areas in like the Willow Glen community of San Jose where the encampments have been moved and cleared out. And that's one of the challenges is when we say the encampments are being cleared out, it's like, oh, we're addressing the issue. But when they're cleared out, most of the time they are just moved, or the folks in place that were there finding that spot are criminalized. And that can bring issues of concern as well. One of the other ways folks are tackling it, for example, the city of San Jose has a program called BHCs. Maybe you're familiar with this. This is something I was seeing a lot, but I didn't always know the terms for. But it's called Bridge Housing Communities. It's essentially interim housing. There's 6 that the city of San Jose operates, and the purpose of them is to help people stabilize their lives and giving that option of temporary housing as a tool to find permanent housing. Some people believe that this is helping, but it just depends on the intentions of the folks taking part in the program. And that's hard to decipher because humans are messy and humans are humans, regardless of privilege, status, housing or not. Humans are messy. That is my opinion, but you know. But if I go on to read a little bit more into this, the city doesn't charge rent for these interim housing communities, and then the participants have access to resources to help them find permanent housing. A lot of the affordable housing that is being built or newly constructed has areas within it that are dedicated to these interim housing communities. So this is supposed to be expanding, and part of where the budget for San Jose's City Council's 2024 budget is supposed to be going towards. That's also debated right now if it's being used wisely, if it's being used appropriately, if it's being used at all. Let me give you the details. The San Jose City Council's 2024 budget cut $25 million from affordable housing. The council diverted more than $23 million from affordable housing to homelessness solutions, including safe parking and tiny homes. Now, this is also something that is affecting folks who have recently bought homes, and then all of a sudden the encampments are moved, or there's parking lots next to them that are designated as safe parking and tiny homes. And then we're also seeing just more concerns, more violence, more police calls in a lot of these areas. And it's unfortunate because we want to see people get help and get the resources they need and uplift their lives, right? Uplift themselves, uplift their lives, do something better for themselves and their family so that they're not kind of stuck in these situations. But not everybody uses these resources the way they are designated to be used, and we can't always control that. So I'm just curious, homelessness being the crisis it is within our county and across the states, across the nation, what do you think is the best way to go about helping people, but also protecting communities, but also using budgets appropriately, and really just figuring out how to revert this crisis of homelessness so that we see more people housed, but also those that are housed able to turn their house into home without the concern of homelessness surrounding their environment that they live in the day-to-day. Hot topic, y'all. I don't have the answers. I have mixed feelings on it myself, so let me know what you think. Let's jump to another hot topic. This one's for all my sports fans out there, but not all sports fans. I'm going to be a little specific. My 49ers fans, all right? I was told when I moved to the Bay Area that I didn't have a choice. Like, I had to be a 49ers fan or I need to live somewhere else. Okay, yes, if you know my family, then you know. But huge 49ers fans from my family. So I wanted to pull up this hot topic that is very new for all my 49ers fans to talk about how Brandon Aiyuk has officially been signed for a 4-year deal locked into play until 2028. I pulled up this article from Yahoo Sports. Kyle Madsen wrote it really well here. He said there were discussions about whether Aiyuk was worth the headache of a preseason long negotiation, my own, adding 3 months of negotiation. Like, that's a long time. 3 months of negotiation. Anyways, and whether he was worth it to the 49ers for the $30 million or so per year it would take to keep him with San Francisco. Aiyuk was the team's leading receiver last year and is coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. His second team All-Pro nod in 2023 was his first, but all signs pointed toward him being an ascending player in the NFL. This is big. This is a big deal. This is big news. And I'm just going to say right now, Brandon and Rochelle, if you're looking for that dream home now that you're locked in here for, the next 4 years and you want that place to build and grow here in the Bay Area, you let me know. I'm going to find you that perfect spot that fits all your needs and wants. I just had to throw that in there. But I'm excited to see this because there was a lot of conversation around this within the 49er fan community and just talking about what these negotiations actually entailed and so much of that unknown factor as we're leading into, the official season start and the games going. We were just at one of the preseason games recently and it was a very interesting air. Everybody is still excited and pumped. There's always an energy at live sports games, but when you're seeing preseason, a lot of the players, I should say, are being tested out and they're going in more so to get that playing time and see who's going to be the backup, so-and-so. And even that time watching the preseason game, my older son, Angel, he was talking about all the players that should be on the field that he wanted to see. And he's really excited to see Brandon Aiyuk continue playing. And, I'm a little biased because I went to University of Arizona. But there's still Arizona love out there. So supporting anybody coming from Arizona to the Bay Area and seeing them help our team win. And we're going to take it back to the Super Bowl this year. So let's make that happen. My final hot topic today is not the most exciting, but super important and relevant to understand what's going on in our culture. And it is the tech layoffs that are continuing to happen. This was a conversation a year ago. This was a conversation at the start of the year. And this continues to be a big conversation, particularly for the folks who work in tech actively right now. As of August 30th, 422 tech companies have laid off 136,782 employees. This does include some small firms, but it also includes some of the really big tech firms and tech giants like Apple, Microsoft, Google, MasterCard, Intel. We're seeing these tech layoffs across the board, across the Bay Area, and especially here in our South Bay market. Some folks are terming this the Great Tech Reset. It kind of sounds inspirational when you say it that way, but if you are one of these folks who are being laid off or have the fear of being laid off, there's nothing inspirational about it. It is nerve-wracking and it can be scary for folks to not know if their job is secure and to not know if that salary that they may be planning, to bring it back to the market, they may be planning to base what they're bidding or buying a home on, or if they're going to sell their house on their existing salary and stable income. And now it's a little bit into question. It's a little unknown factor. A lot of folks thought that when this started last year, at the beginning of the year, depending on what company you might be looking at, that these layoffs would kind of be like a one and done thing, but it has been continuous and a continuous reevaluation. I was even talking to my good friend who works at Google, and we were talking about the challenges of being remote versus hybrid and how they're requiring a lot more folks to be hybrid and make sure that the spaces that are being invested in are being used. And still, even though there's these spaces across the world, truly, but the ones I'm looking at are the Bay Area, are massive and all-inclusive and have so many amenities and benefits, people aren't using them and they're still choosing to leave or move out of the Bay sometimes. And a lot of that does come down to the cost of living. So these tech layoffs are definitely making people think twice about buying a home, about selling a home, and if they want to live in the Bay Area or not. It's definitely affecting our culture and it's affecting our economy. Let's go into final announcements. To wrap this all up, I have some exciting things coming up. So although some of our hot topics weren't the most exciting, these announcements are. I want to officially invite you to our first time homebuyer workshop. This will be our second that we are hosting. I'm hosting it with my good friend and mortgage loan originator, David Lopez. And we are going to be hosting this in San Jose on Saturday, September 14th. It will be kind of a brunch time, so 10:30 a.m. This is a completely free workshop, free event. And it's an opportunity for you to get all your questions answered. So if you're watching this video and it's just giving you more questions about your home search process, or what do I need to do to get my first home this year, get my first home next year, is it better for me to get a condo or a townhouse or a single family home, what kind of funding options are available to me, all of that, we'll take a breath and we'll work out together. We'll help you create your action plan so that you can successfully buy your first home, feel good about it, and then turn whatever house or property you buy into that home that fits you and your needs and your dreams. We want to see you live well. It's not just a motto or something that I write on cards. I genuinely want to see you live well, and I love working with and collaborating with other people who have that same mission and value so that we can really educate you and give you all the opportunities and resources you need to find success in this part of your journey and in this season of your life. My next announcement, I want to invite any of my teens out there who are watching this, or families who have teens that are planning to go to college or maybe just started. The Santa Clara County chapter of NORA actually has a scholarship opportunity. So I get to serve on the board, the Agents for Change, this year, and I'm super excited that we will be hosting 3 financial literacy workshops. The dates are September 19th, October 17th, and November 14th. They're in the evening. And all these financial literacy workshops, those 3, are going to not only give you the education to make the most of the scholarship funds if you're able to win it, but it also will give us time to help you work on your personal statement, get some tips and advice so that you can have the best possible opportunity to win that scholarship. The applications for the scholarship will be due November 30th, so you have some time if you're watching this now, and it is for any high school seniors or college freshmen who identify as Santa Clara County residents. And if they are already in college and it might not be in Santa Clara County, as long as your senior year of high school you were a Santa Clara County resident, that still counts. So definitely take a look at that. I'm going to include the link to the First Time Homebuyer Workshop as well as this scholarship opportunity and application page in the description below the video. My last announcement for today is to check out the Let's Talk About It podcast. So a lot of you already know this. I've been doing the Here to Uplift podcast for a while now. It is a joy of mine to be a host on this podcast. It's both a video and audio podcast. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you want to listen to it at. Or you can actually watch the video, which, you know, if you have the ability to watch the video, it's pretty darn entertaining sometimes, depending on the location we're at as well. And this is one of those that you definitely want to check out. Video, audio, whatever is accessible to you. This Let's Taco, get it? Taco About It series features local Mexican restaurants and taco spots that we thoroughly enjoy as we have our conversations. The conversations are inspiring. We get to hear the stories of local entrepreneurs, business owners, and change makers while enjoying delicious food and centering one of our local hotspots for food, which we encourage you to try yourself and let us know how it goes, what your favorite meals are, what your go-to order is, whatever that might be, or if there's any spots we missed. I want to know that as well, because genuinely, I like to eat, all right? So great conversations, great food. It's a podcast you don't want to miss out on, and it just launched. So that link is also below. Or if you're already watching this video on YouTube, you know where to go. You're on my page, so go check out the Let's Talk About It series of the Here to Uplift podcast. With that was a whole lot. We went by the numbers. We talked about some tips for buyers and sellers in today's market. We went over our hot topics and, of course, our announcements and opportunities that I want you to take advantage of, all right? I want you to take advantage of. I want the best for you. So that being said, thank you so much for watching this episode of our monthly market updates. As we dive into September 2024, I wish you all the best, and I encourage you to live well and live better. And if you're ready to move, make a move with Metis. Bye.